Italian Football Podcast.
First of all, I'm going to start off with the team who are going to be the busiest during between now and the end of the Mercato, and that is Juventus. They've got so much business to do. They've got a huge squad, and they need to trim it down massively. But the biggest one to start with is, of course, Romelu Lukaku, Chelsea-owned player. Talks have been ongoing this week on the swap deal between him and Dusan Vlahovic, and that we'll see those two players swap clubs. And the problem is that there's a big gap between what Juventus feel is fair and what Chelsea feel is fair. Juventus have been requesting 40 million euros plus Lukaku in order to swap Dusan Vlahovic. Chelsea believe that the value should be much lower than that. They think it should be a fairer price, is around 20 to 25. So at the moment, the talks have broken down, and the gap is a problem. We'll see if the talks can resume, if that can get unlocked closer to the end of August. But right now, there's too much of a gap there to do a deal. Lukaku only wants Juventus, and there is interest also from Al Hilal. He has a huge offer from Al Hilal. So Lukaku to Juventus, that is one to watch, as is Dusan Vlahovic to Chelsea, or Dusan Vlahovic to another club. As it stands, Chelsea have pulled out. We'll see if it gets resurrected. But I think certainly Bayern Munich are a team to watch out for. If there's no progress there on Harry Kane, Bayern could come back in for him. And I think Real Madrid are also one possibly to look out for. PSG as well, but I would say unlikely those two. PSG have gone for Gonzalo Ramos. They're also working on Kolo Muani. I don't think they will sign Vlahovic in addition to signing Ramos. So I would say PSG unlikely. Madrid also unlikely. But if the Kylian Mbappe deal doesn't go through, they still need a proper replacement for Karim Benzema. So not impossible. But certainly we know that Juventus are looking to cash in on Vlahovic if the right offer comes in. Staying on Juventus, Juventus are planning to sign a central midfielder before the end of the window. They must sell first, though, before they can sign another central midfielder. But we know they want to, because Sergio Milinkovic-Savic and Frank Kessié, they failed with both of those players. So that is one to watch between now and the end of the Juventus' search for another centre mid. Khéphren Thuram, of course, is the guy that most Juventus fans want. He's been linked in the last few days. But yeah, a centre midfielder. Juventus are going to sell centre midfielders. Denis Zakaria, they're in advanced negotiations with Monaco. They're getting close to a price. Juventus are asking for 25 million euros. Monaco have got to about 22 now, I believe. So they're getting quite close now. I think this deal should be done pretty soon, I think. Elsewhere in the midfield, Fabio Miretti and Hans Nicolucci Caviglia, they're both going to be loaned out. Salernitana, they're in talks with Salernitana, so watch out for that. Matthias Soulé as well, either on loan or on a permanent transfer. There's a lot of Serie A teams that are interested in Salernitana again, Frosinone, Verona, also some interest in the Bundesliga. Frosinone are the current favourites for Soulé. Koni De Winter, he is going to leave Juventus as well. Genoa and Nice, both in talks. Genoa seem to be likely, but negotiations have slowed down. But I see him leaving. Enzo Baranecchia also will be loaned out. Frosinone are also interested in him. Luca Pellegrini, he will leave Juventus. Lazio are in advanced talks with him, a loan with obligation to buy. Maurizio Sarri is a fan. Of course, he was there. Pellegrini is a fan of Lazio. So I think this is something that is looking like it could be done. The left wing-back position, Juventus have way too many left wing-backs. Pellegrini is going to go, but I think there is a chance that one of Kostic or Illing Jr. could leave before the end of the summer. It's not for certain, but that is certainly an area to watch out for. So let's see what happens there. Weston McKennie, he was transfer listed. Of course, he was at Leeds last season. He's had a good pre-season. So now, everybody that knows my opinion on Weston McKennie, now it's more of a 50-50 that he leaves. Let's see what teams come in for him, what offers come in for him. It's no longer definite that he will leave the club. Nicola Rovella, Monza wants him back on loan. He's currently injured, but he's also loved. Maurizio Sarri loves him at Lazio. We know that Lazio are after a centre midfielder. We'll come on to that after. So he is certainly one to watch out for between now and the end of the window. And finally, on Juventus, Leonardo Bonucci, he's excluded from the squad. He didn't go on the summer tour. He on Instagram this week, he virtually said goodbye to the Juventus fans. So he will leave Juve. The issue is there is very little interest in him. And, so we have to see who comes in for him. Juventus are trying to move him on, though, and I think this is something that will be resolved by the end of the window.